Have you ever heard about a city that was completely washed away by a tsunami? In the early hours of November 5, 1952, the world was oblivious to a catastrophe that was unfolding in a remote corner of the Soviet Union. A seismic event of unprecedented scale was taking place under the sea near the Kamchatka Peninsula, triggering a monstrous wave, a tsunami. This disaster is known today as the North Kurilsk tsunami. This wasn't just your average tsunami, it was a behemoth. A wave of such magnitude and power that it would forever change the landscape of the region. The most severely affected was the town of North Kurilsk in the Sakhalin region. This bustling Soviet city, home to thousands, was tragically and abruptly wiped from the face of the earth. Imagine an entire city, its buildings, its infrastructure, its people swept away in an instant by an unstoppable force of nature. The loss of life was immense, the destruction total, but what makes this event even more astonishing is that, to a large extent, it remained a secret. The Soviet Union, known for its iron curtain of secrecy, kept the world in the dark about the true extent of the disaster. The magnitude of the catastrophe, the number of lives lost, the sheer scale of the devastation, all were shrouded in mystery. For years, the world knew little about the fate of North Kurilsk and its people, the city that was washed away by a tsunami. But today, we're peeling back the layers of the past, unearthing the hidden truth about this little-known apocalypse. We're delving into the depths of history to understand what happened on that fateful November morning and why it remained a secret for so long. This is the story of the classified apocalypse of 1952 that erased an entire Soviet city, the city that was washed away, the city that the world forgot, the city that was North Kurilsk. This is their story, the story of the unknown apocalypse. Imagine a typical day in a bustling Soviet city, unaware of the impending disaster. It's North Kurilsk, a vibrant hub in the far reaches of the Soviet Union, teeming with life and activity. Nestled on the island of Paramushir, it's a city known for its fishing industry, its rugged beauty, and its hardy populace. The city is a hive of activity. Workers in the fishing industry, the city's economic backbone, are returning from a day at sea, their boats laden with the day's catch. The aroma of freshly caught fish mingles with the salty sea breeze, a familiar scent that's part of the city's identity. The local fish market is a cacophony of voices, as vendors hawk their wares and locals haggle over prices. At the heart of the city, cultural life is in full swing. The local theater is preparing for an evening performance, and the town's library, a beacon of knowledge, is abuzz with students and avid readers. The local radio station is broadcasting news, music, and the occasional chess match, a popular pastime in North Kurilsk. Yet, despite the city's vibrancy, its location makes it vulnerable. North Kurilsk is perched precariously on the edge of the Kamchatka Peninsula, a region notorious for seismic activity. The city's residents, however, have learned to live with this reality. They are a resilient lot, no strangers to the occasional tremors that remind them of their city's precarious position on the Pacific Ring of Fire. As the sun sets, the city winds down. The fish market closes, the theater's curtains fall, and the lights in the houses start to dim. The city tucks itself in for the night, its residents unaware of the unseen danger lurking in the ocean's depths. The day before the tsunami was just another day in North Kurilsk, a city alive and thriving, oblivious to the tragedy that was about to unfold. But as the city slept that night, a catastrophic event was brewing in the depths of the ocean. In the early hours of the morning, the earth shook, and a monstrous wave was unleashed. It was November 5, 1952, just as the clocks in North Kurilsk struck 5, the ground beneath the town trembled violently, a terrifying prelude of the disaster to come. This was no ordinary tremor, but a massive earthquake, its epicenter located deep beneath the sea surface. The earthquake was so powerful that it displaced an enormous volume of water, creating a wall of energy that sped across the ocean at jetliner speeds. This energy transformed into a colossal wave, a tsunami, that was drawn relentlessly toward the unsuspecting town of North Kurilsk. As the wave approached the shore, it reared up to an astounding height, dwarfing the town's buildings and casting a shadow of impending doom. It was a force of nature in its rawest form, a testament to the power and unpredictability of our planet. When the tsunami struck, it did so with a fury that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It tore through the town with an unstoppable force, demolishing buildings, uprooting trees, and tossing cars around as if they were mere toys. The roar of the wave was deafening, a thunderous sound that drowned out the cries of the frantic citizens as they scrambled to escape the deluge. Despite the suddenness of the disaster, the people of North Kurilsk fought desperately for survival. They climbed to higher ground, clung to floating debris, did whatever they could to stay above the churning waters. But the wave was relentless, sweeping away everything and everyone in its path. As quickly as it had arrived, the tsunami receded, leaving behind a scene of utter devastation. Buildings were flattened, streets were flooded, and the once bustling town was eerily silent. All that remained was a landscape of destruction, a stark reminder of the power of the sea and the fragility of human existence. In a matter of minutes, North Kurilsk was reduced to rubble. When the water receded, a scene of utter devastation was revealed. The once bustling town of North Kurilsk was transformed into a desolate wasteland. Buildings that had once stood tall and proud were reduced to rubble. Homes, businesses, schools, all washed away in an instant. It was as if the city had never existed. The loss of life was staggering. Thousands of residents, men, women, and children were swept away by the merciless waves, leaving behind a ghost town echoing with the silence of the departed. The town's population was decimated, with only a small fraction of its inhabitants surviving the cataclysm. The Soviet Union, a superpower known for its stoic resolve, was shaken to its core. The government quickly mobilized its resources, dispatching rescue teams to the devastated areas. Soldiers, doctors, and volunteers worked tirelessly, sifting through the wreckage, searching for survivors amidst the debris. It was a race against time, a battle against despair, yet the hardships faced by the survivors were just beginning. With their homes destroyed and their loved ones lost, they found themselves in a world turned upside down. Food and clean water were scarce, and the cold Siberian winter was fast approaching. The survivors faced a daunting task: to rebuild their lives from the ruins. The Soviet government, understanding the gravity of the situation, initiated large-scale relief operations. Food, clothing, and medical aid were airlifted to the region. Temporary shelters were erected to house the survivors. Efforts were made to restore basic facilities such as water and electricity. But the road to recovery was long and arduous. Yet, amidst the tragedy, there were stories of resilience and hope. Stories of people coming together, helping each other, sharing what little they had. Stories of people refusing to give in to despair, choosing instead to face the challenges head-on. It was a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a beacon of light in the darkest of times. But the memory of North Kurilsk, the city that once was, remained. Etched in the minds of the survivors, a haunting reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. In the wake of the disaster, North Kurilsk was a city no more. What happens when a city simply ceases to exist? In the blink of an eye, North Kurilsk was washed away, leaving behind a devastating void. But the legacy of this city and its people is far from forgotten. The North Kuril tsunami of 1952 was not just a disaster, but a pivotal moment in Soviet history, a moment that taught us valuable lessons about the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit. The long-term effects of this disaster can still be felt in the region. The land where North Kurilsk once stood remains largely uninhabited, a solemn testament to the city that once was. The survivors, scattered across the Soviet Union, carried with them the memory of their lost home, passing it down through generations. Their stories serve as a poignant reminder of the city's vibrant past and the tragedy that abruptly ended it. The disaster also left an indelible mark on Soviet history. It was one of the first major natural disasters to occur during the Cold War era, and it exposed the limitations of the Soviet Union's disaster response capabilities. It prompted a re-evaluation of disaster management strategies, leading to significant improvements in the years that followed. It became a catalyst for change, a wake-up call that no nation, no matter how powerful, is immune to the forces of nature. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of North Kurilsk is the lessons it has taught us. The disaster underscored the importance of preparedness and resilience in the face of adversity. It reminded us that while we cannot control the forces of nature, we can control how we respond to them. And it demonstrated the incredible resilience of the human spirit as survivors rebuilt their lives from the ruins. In the end, the city of North Kurilsk may have been washed away, but its spirit lives on in the hearts of its people and the pages of history. The North Kuril tsunami of 1952 serves as a stark reminder of the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit.